You may have ever read or heard people speak using sort of and kind of. Uh, Personally, I've read a story and several articles that use sort of and kind of, and as far as I know, kind of is more common in American English, while sort of is more common in British English. Nevertheless, have you ever thought about the differences and what it means? That's why I'm Raisha Oktavia Prawita, an English literature student at 45 Islamic University Bekasi, want to invite you to find out and discuss what is kind of and sort of. How is it used? Then can we use interchangeably? And last but not at least, I will give some question to help you understand about kind of and sort of. I'd like to start by explaining what is kind of and sort of. Kind of and sort of are very common expression in speaking. They soften other words and phrases so they don't appear too direct or exact. Both kind of and sort of have the same meaning. They usually mean that a thing is a variety of something or subject is a little or to some extent similar to something. However, kind of is used more often than sort of. It can be because kind of is more flexible and acceptable in grammar and academic writing. Specifically, kind of works well with all subjects but sort of doesn't sound good with biological organism. Well, I've told you about the differences between kind of and sort of. Then, I'd like now to discuss how to use kind of and sort of in a sentence. Kind of and sort of can be used in a various way. We can put them in front of a noun to describe something as a type, a variety, or an object under the category of a particular thing. For example, they own a car that's sort of a sports car. This indicates that the type of car in the sentence is a sports car. Another example, she wrote a book that's kind of a children's book. This sentence tells that the author wrote a book that is a type of children's book. In these examples, we can see how the two phrases are similar. When we put in front of a noun, kind of is considered more formal than sort of, which we use more in everyday conversation to say that something could be described as being a particular thing. We can also put these phrases in front of verbs, adjectives, or adverbs to describe the extent to which we mean a particular thing. Here, kind of and sort of usually means in some way or little or with very little meaning. For example, I felt kind of sorry for him. Or, I've sort of heard of him but I don't know who he is. She looks sort of tired. However, if we put kind of and sort of in front of adjective, verbs, or adverbs, both are also considered informal and used more for daily conversation, while we use somewhat for formal writing. When using kind of or sort of, always use a singular object, but if the object is plural, then use kinds of or sorts of. For example, what kind of salad is this? Kind and salad are both singular. Then, there are all sorts of fruits in the salad. Sorts and fruits are both plural. Now, let's return to can kind of and sort of be used interchangeably. We can use kind of and sort of interchangeably because they have almost no differences in meaning. For example, saying I'm kind of hungry right now and I'm sort of hungry right now express the same idea. So we can use any of the two phrases interchangeably. Rather than the meaning, it's best to determine which one to use through the context of how you will use it. For example, If you need more formal terms, try to use kind of and somewhat. But if you're using it for daily conversation, you can use sort of. Though interchangeable, it's also best to determine correctness by ear. Some phrases may be awkward to put in a sentence. For example, sort of doesn't work with biological or living organism. It's sort of a lion. It sounds awkward, doesn't it? And wrong. So we say it's kind of lion instead. But other than that, kind of and sort of mean the same thing. And it won't matter much which one you use. Well, I've told you all about kind of and sort of. So for better understanding, let's practice by answering the following questions. I'll give you 10 seconds to choose the best answer, but if you need more time, you can pause it. Then I also give a little explanation about the answer. You ready? The best answer for the first question is A. He was kind of narcissistic. B is wrong because there is an a before kind of, which is followed by an adjective. We use a or an before a singular count noun. An adjective can be counted, so we don't use a or an before it, unless it is followed by a noun. C is wrong because the structure is not right. Kind of should be enough. D is wrong because the word kind here looks unnecessary. The best answer for the second question is B. Although there is an A after sort of, this is considered correct because after a is followed by a noun, while A and C are wrong because there is no of after sort and they use a before sort. Lastly, D is wrong because the structure is not right. Sort of should be enough. The best answer for the third question is A. He's kind of depressed a lot of the time. B is wrong because there is no of after kind. C is wrong because of is used after depressed. And D is wrong because it uses a before an adjective. The correct answer for the fourth question is C. Fantasy series that is sort of realistic. A is wrong because it used a before an adjective. Then B is wrong because it uses has not is. Lastly, D is wrong because it uses has and a before an adjective. The exact answer for the fifth question is D. No, I'm sort of broke right now. A and C is wrong because sort and of is parroted by broke, while B is wrong because the structure is not right. Before I leave you, let me briefly restate my presentation about kind of and sort of. Kind of and sort of have the same meaning, namely that a thing is a variety of something or a subject is a little or to some extent similar to something. Although kind of and sort of have the same meaning and can be used interchangeably, kind of is used more often than sort of because kind of is more flexible and acceptable in grammar and academic writing. Also, kind of works well with all subjects. In addition, sort of and kind of can be used in front of noun, verb, adjective, or even an adverb. Okay, that's all from me. Hopefully, this can be a new knowledge for us. Thank you.